here for a new concept. This is a pilot for a podcast, telecast, broadcast called Numbers Known, and we have no idea where it's going to go. So, because of that, somebody that I admire deeply from afar for a while is the founder, president, ambassador, global icon of A2 Media, Ademola Adelakun. I actually went to your LinkedIn and hit the sound button on your name because I thought it may have been Adelakun or how close was I on that intro?
You were 100% spot on. So thank you for that.
Small victories up front, man. That's
Dude,
important.
I always forget that my name is super Nigerian. So whenever people are on calls with me and I don't introduce myself, they avoid my name like the plague. And then at the end, they're like, so how do you say your name? And I'm like, oh my God, I always do this. Ademola Adelakun. So you're 100% on the money.
I mentioned to you, do you know numbers like that? Do you have 3 numbers that are specific to you personally or professionally that kind of drive your why?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of 2 right now. You actually gave me one in our debrief. So 78 is one of them. I would say another one is 40, and I can get into what these mean in a second. And then 3. 78% is around the number of people that watch your content before making a buying decision. Like 78% of buyers watch your content before coming to your sales team. 40% is the amount that you can increase time to or decrease time to close if you use video content in your funnel. And then 3 is the number of themes that you should have in your content when you post.
But 78% of buyers want to engage with video content before decision making or before they transact or before they purchase, or can you give a little more?
Yeah, before they even speak to your sales team. So we have so much access to information now that people want to shop around on Reddit. They know that your product pages and your landing pages make your product look the best it possibly can. So they want to search for anything they can find, reviews, videos that you've put out. They want to see what your vibe is because we've moved away from lack of information to completely trusting, like the trust economy. So if they feel like you're the right fit for them and they have an inkling towards that, they will scour the internet trying to find everything about you. And once they feel comfortable enough, that's when they go to your sales team to say, hey, I already know what you guys do. I just have a couple questions and then we can move forward. The idea is to make people go, when they watch your content, say, that's me, or how did they know that I needed that? And the more frequently you can do that, the faster that they will get on the phone with you, because if you know them intimately and you have access to problems they didn't even know that they had, then they're going to realize that you're the right people to be talking to because you were able to see even further into the issue that they have than they can at that current point. So in order to avoid pain and trying to figure it out on their own, they will see you as the teacher that that leveled them up, and then also knows more than them and is likely to save them a lot of time if we start working together now, sort of thing.
Hey, the magic trick has been promised, and Ademola was looking for a deck of cards. He has now secured them. He has I'm seeing on screen a deck of bicycle cards with a blue spade. It's red. He's going to ask me, I believe, to probably select a card or do some mind trick.
You read my mind. So any card that comes to mind, say it out loud.
First card that popped into my head was the 4 of Hearts.
Okay. Now, I always ask this, but do you want to change your mind?
As somebody that's very neurotic, I do want to change my mind. I want to change it to the 4 of Diamonds. I think diamonds? 4 is good, but my wife's favorite number is 4. I'm going to do 4 of Diamonds.
Okay, let's try this out. So I'm going to go to the box here. 4 of Diamonds, correct? Okay, so we're going to take a look through. And you see how there's a bunch of different cards? If we get lucky,
they look shuffled and random. Uh-oh, right? There it is.
There's one face down.
I see it.
Right? If you take a look at that card, it is in fact the 4 of Diamonds.
Yeah, whether you believe me or not, we did not prep for this. I did not send him a chat or message. I don't think there's any other deck or any way you could have done that. And if you want to have the trick revealed, you're going to have to subscribe to both of our newsletters.
Yes.
It's going to cost you a little bit, but we do reveal the trick in there.
We do, to our premium subscribers, you know?
You mentioned 40 as a second number, and you referenced, what does 40 stand for you, just to remind me and the audience?
Yeah, so 40% less time to close using video content. Something that we've implemented for a couple of our clients is interactive video content. So choose your own adventure video. Let's say you have frequently asked questions that people typically come to your sales team for, and you make 6 or 7 videos about those frequently asked questions. And then you put a video in front of the user that says, hey, this is an interactive video. Click whatever you want to see first. And they click, well, what does your product do? And then afterwards, they're like, who's that guy? Or like, who have you worked with? If they get to choose the journey, their watch through rates shoot up to like, they complete it up to 300% more of the time.
And as an example, the most effective way for somebody that is trying to train their kids on how to hit a baseball better isn't a doc, and it's not a PDF with schematics for most people who aren't engineers. Right. It is a video of perhaps the before and after of a kid's swing. It is a video of perhaps detailing what that interaction looks like. So you can then kind of make it specific to whoever it is, you know, that as A2 Media, whoever it is you're serving, and what type of messaging they're trying to promote.
Right. So, yeah, that is the power of video, I would say, largely. Like, once you understand your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and your avatars, and you understand where they watch you, the things they're thinking about, what they need to see to move from, okay, I had this misconception, to actually purchasing from you. Once you understand all of that, it's all about time spent. So there was this really interesting, and I tell this story has a point, I promise. There was this really interesting podcast I was listening to about an event that was held at a stadium somewhere. And I don't remember all the details, but what the person noticed was they had A-list celebrities come out. You know, people gave a round of applause. It was kind of weak. They had short form content creators come out. People gave a slightly bigger round of applause. Then they had long form content creators and podcasters come out. People went crazy, right? Because you feel like you've spent so much time with these people. And then the live streamers came out and people lost their minds, right? And it's just so interesting to watch, because that signals that people are invested in the people that they watch. And the more time you spend with people, which is why, you know, I feel like people should be betting on long form content this year, the more trust you build with them, right? So are you going to trust a recommendation from a friend that you've had for 10 years, or someone that you met on the street randomly that says, like, go to this restaurant?
The future of sales is marketing, specifically content creation. And that is because of access. It's because of the 78% that you referenced, and the 80% of the buyer's journey that's done before engaging. The future of sales with access is making people aware and speaking to them and connecting with them before you've shaken a hand or before they've talked to your sales team. From that, I would say the future of marketing is more customer service and voice of customer oriented. Because sales is shifting this way to marketing thus shifts to, if you go on Amazon right now and search for a product, I would argue that most likely price and some other, you know, constraints at play, you're more likely to buy the one with more positive reviews. When you go into their reviews that are more specific. So the future of like creating awareness and advocacy, and I would argue reducing churn before people sign a contract, is by proving the need to retain the customer in the marketing process. And then finally, I would say the future of customer success retention, if you want to think of it from pipeline, is sales. And we've seen it with Salesforce, we've seen it with Gong, we've seen it with these SaaS companies where an AE will be on the call, introduce the sales engineer, go on mute for 25 minutes, and then send a recap. And the engineer, to solve the very technical problem, is really kind of serving in the sales process, again, to make whatever they're selling more sticky, if it's SaaS like we're accustomed to. So that's it. The whole journey, or the whole, you know, pipeline is almost moving one phase up. Sales becomes marketing based on content awareness and access. Marketing becomes customer service, voice of customer, word of mouth, referrals, and customer service or customer success becomes sales. How would you respond to that insane theory?
You're going to hate me for this, but I literally have no notes. I think you're spot on. I'm trying to think of even something to add to that. And, you know, the only thing that I can say is the theme there is that personalization and actually knowing who the hell you're talking to and making them feel like they're not just a number is the theme of what you're saying there. And it's going to be a tough shift for everyone who's excited for AI and automation and all this AI generated content, because they're going to very quickly realize that it's cool that all this stuff is advancing faster than we can imagine, but you have to realize that if it's advancing this fast, people are going to get bored of it super fast as well. So this might be the year where AI slop is just like at its ultimate, at its peak. And then next year, people will be like, we can't stand that anymore. We just want to feel seen. And that engine that you just spoke about will be more important than ever. So, dude, no notes. That's incredible.
Is you said you need 3 themes. I think 3 was like how many different themes you need to talk about. Can you talk more about that? Are you talking about 30 minutes in? I assume you're not talking about the 3 different solutions you offer, or the 3 different payment methods, or the 3 different tiers of subscription level. Is this more of a, here's the pain we help solve, here's who we are and what we believe in and our philosophy, and here's our team? I mean, what do those 3 themes look like for you?
It's a good guess. I mean, I should have gone with our 3 different tiers of payment and just kind of promoted A2 Media, but it's around having 3 different things that you talk about. So core messages or core themes is what I normally say, because a lot of brands don't know how to go to market in a consistent way, and they don't realize that people have to hear things at least 7 times before it sticks. So with that said, if you can figure out what the 3 things you want to be known for are, and you consistently talk about those things, with some fun sprinkled in every once in a while, then you'll get pretty far in positioning. So for us, I had to pull it up on my screen over here because I never remember what they are. But number 1 is you don't need to go viral for video to work. That's a core theme of ours. You don't need a big team to scale great content. And the last one is video done right is the most effective way to drive leads. And that's more of a hill that I'd like to die on. I do believe that that will become more and more true as the years go by. But for me, whenever I open up my Notion doc and I'm about to write a LinkedIn post for the day, or like an email to our newsletter subscribers, those are the things that I keep in mind when I'm like, I got to talk about this, right? And I find different ways to do it, but as long as that is the core message in those things, I know that give it 3 months, 6 months, if I continue to make content that surrounds that, then that is the type of people I'll bring in. And those people will already be bought into the fact that that's the way we think, and they become so much easier to work with. The right people come in if you hit on those core themes all the time.
If you just pop on and say 70-43, deal with it, like come, subscribe to my newsletter, visit my website, we can help. That doesn't tell, it doesn't build trust, it doesn't build authority, it doesn't tell the numbers. It stops at the numbers, but there is much more of a contextual layer than those numbers in and of themselves provide.
I've never been on something like this before. I've never had this format presented to me or been part of it, and I thought it was great.